Hey guys, welcome back to We Met at Acme. I'm so excited to be here with Ella Rose. Hi.
Hi. I'm excited to be here too.
This
I'm
is
nervous.
so fun. Don't be nervous. So let's start with some background. How old are you and where are you from?
I am 25, turned 25 in June. I'm a Gemini, and I'm from California. I was born in San Francisco, grew up in Orange County, went to college in Boulder, and then moved here.
Nice.
I've been here since 2019.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what is your current relationship status?
I am in a relationship. We've been dating. I honestly don't even know the exact amount of time.
Yeah.
We saw each other for a bit before, but I would say dating for just over a year. Like
Love
seriously
it.
dating. Yeah.
That's like, I would consider that a long-term relationship.
Yeah. We met in May of 2021. So I feel like 2 years of coming up on meeting feels like a long time.
Yeah.
It also feels like I've known him for like way longer.
How did you guys meet?
We met on Raya.
Love that.
Yeah.
What was his or your opening line?
I honestly don't remember. I think that I messaged him first, and I can't remember. I think I said something stupid like "Hey,"
Yeah.
but I remember we like talked back and forth on the app for probably like not often, like maybe like 6 messages each for like 2 months, and then it like got to like phone number, and then we were like supposed to go out for drinks. And then I think, like, he was like, how's Sunday? And I was like, yeah, that works. Sunday came around. Nothing happened. Then, like, another one, supposed to meet another time, and it was, like, raining. And I was like, oh, this weather sucks. And just, like, bailed again. And then finally, I went to, so we'd, like, talked on the app, like, a little bit. And then I went to a dinner, like, a birthday dinner. And this girl at the dinner who I didn't know was talking about this guy. And she was like, oh, he's this British guy. His name is James. And I was like, in my head, for some reason, I was like, I feel like this girl is talking about the guy that I matched with on Raya, even though I've never met him.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you talking about like this guy? And I pulled up the Raya. I was like, we've been chatting like on and off, but like I've never met him. And she was like, yeah. And she was like, oh my, like this girl was so rude. I hope she doesn't listen to this. But she was like, oh, you're like definitely like, I'm not surprised he matched with you. Like you're cute. And like said something like just so weird. And I was like, oh yeah. And I like never mentioned it to him that I met this girl. And then I went.
But why? What was she like saying about?
I think so. She had hooked up with him before, and she
Mm-hmm.
said something like, "Oh yeah, like I've slept with him," and I was like, "Oh, like cool. Like I've never even met this guy. Like like we matched on the dating app. And I was like, I just had a feeling like British James. You live in Brooklyn. I was like, I feel like you're talking about the same guy." And then I think she got like a little bit defensive, like told me who he was seeing. I was like, oh, I'm not like I've never even met this guy. Like I don't care. I was seeing someone else at the time,
Right?
And or like going on dates with someone else at least. And then I went to Turks and Caicos for a Revolve trip, and I remember he texted me and he was like, Turks and Cake, and I was like, just like out of the blue, like he was like the worst. It was like giving fuckboy energy, but I was kind of on that page too,
right?
And I replied, and then like I got home that week, and he was like, let's actually do a date, and then we finally went on our first date, and we went to like brunch in Brooklyn.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
And did you have any like nerves about the fact that that girl said like he was seeing someone else, or had enough time pass that like you didn't
No,
care?
enough time had passed. I think she, like this girl, I don't think even like knew him that well, and she was like, oh, he's seeing someone with like gave some information about her, and I was like, oh, I don't care. But I think that was just like I was seeing someone at that time too.
Right.
I think like maybe a month and a bit went by, and then I was also just like very excited to like be going on dates. I wasn't like looking for a boyfriend.
Right.
But I thought he was really cute.
Yeah, and I feel like that's the best mindset to be in.
Yeah.
Like, when you do meet someone.
Yeah.
Is he the same age? When's his birthday?
He's a Virgo. It's September 20th. But no, he just turned 31.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Have you dated older before?
So my ex-boyfriend, who I actually like lived with in New York, we had broken up that year, was like a year or two younger than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always dated like a little bit older, but yeah, I feel like 6 years is like a good maturity difference because I feel like we're still the same maturity.
Oh, definitely. 100%.
Yeah.
And why was he on Raya? Like, what does he do? Because isn't it like for creatives usually?
Yeah. I feel like you never know how people get on Raya.
Oh,
like
you never know.
You never know. He actually admitted that when he became single like a few years ago, him and his friend bought each other Instagram followers.
No.
And he thinks that's why he maybe got on.
Wait, that's hysterical.
I know, so funny.
But don't they like eventually go away? Doesn't Instagram like
I don't know, because you know how like recently they did like a big like bot clean out and then they all came back?
Right.
Because people were like, I just lost 6K or something.
Yeah.
His like stayed. I'm like,
Oh,
what the hell?
wow. Maybe his bot followers became real people.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. And so you go on this brunch date, and like, how did you know that there were vibes that would maybe become a relationship if you did?
Yeah, I remember I like showed up. It was like during the heat stroke and it was like 96 degrees. And I was like,
wow.
Don't even know what to wear on this date. I wore like the smallest top and like denim shorts. And I was late because I like Ubered, but I like kind of wanted to be late. And when I walked up, I remember being like, oh my God, he's so cute. Like in my head, I was like, wow, he's so cute. And then the accent, and I was like,
yeah.
But I feel like the conversation was just really, it was all like very light. We like had brunch, had a couple beers, we like walked along the river, and then it kind of turned into like a day thing, which I feel like I had never gone on a brunch date before. And now I actually think that's such a good idea for a first date, because like has the potential to like go on longer, but not like into the nighttime.
Right.
Whereas like you don't have to like go home with someone or like do something. Like we could just bounce around Brooklyn, like went on a revel and stuff, and like got drinks one place, got drinks another place, and then, like said goodbye.
Yeah.
And I feel like I really liked that. Cause it's not like pressure. It was like felt really light.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, I would usually say that like that. I feel like because that's like almost like too much time to spend together on a first date, but obviously it worked out for you. But like that like figuring out the boundary of like when to stop hanging out if you're having such a good time is hard.
Yeah. So I remember like thinking in my head like when is this meant to end?
Right.
Like we had finished brunch and he was like, and then let's like walk down, I don't even know, like I think the river, like where we were in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And we like walked, I think brunch was in like Greenpoint, and we walked to Williamsburg, and we walked by my friend's restaurant, and like one of the waiters, like I remember one girl walking there screamed and was like, I love you, Ella. And he was like, are you like famous or something? And I was like, no. I was like, this is so awkward.
Oh my God.
And then
so
the waiter at my friend's place was like, Ella, like have a drink here. So we like sat and they'd given us free drinks. And then he was like, okay, I'll walk you to the subway. And then I remember being like, oh, I kind of don't want it to end because we were having so much fun, but it felt like the right time. And I was like, oh, how are you getting home? And he's like, oh, I'm going to take a revel. And I was like, oh, I've like never done a revel. And I totally had. Yeah. And he was like, oh, let's like go on a revel ride. Yeah. And then we went to like one more place and got drinks. And I remember that time I was like, okay, it's time to go home soon. But at that, it was like Roberta's. Remember I got an Aperol Spritz and it like, I set it next to me and the wind picked up and it flew and it just went all down me. And it was like really awkward. And I like, went to the bathroom and he was like, do you want me to run to my apartment and get you like sweatpants or something? And I was like, no, it's fine. Like I'll just like go home soon. And then I remember I came back out and we did like, you know, when you figure out someone's like love language?
Oh, yeah.
We like did that on our first date and I'd never done that before.
Oh, that's so cute.
And then he walked me to the subway.
What was his love language?
I don't even remember. I look at mine and it doesn't even like feel accurate.
Yeah, what does it say?
I think I literally have to look. It says I like receiving gifts, but I feel like I like quality time.
Yeah.
And like words of...
Well, I think you can have like a few.
Yeah.
Like ranked.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like both.
Mine is the top one. Oh, the top one's physical touch. Oh, and then receiving gifts.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm mainly quality time and words of affirmation.
Yeah. So basically just every love language.
Yeah, I literally like them all.
So what were some green flags in the beginning of dating him that you were like, okay, this guy is not a fuckboy. He's boyfriend material?
So I think we didn't have that for the first like 2 months. I would say like we met in May. After the first date, it wasn't like we went on more dates. Like I was like in like such a like, I think this guy's really hot. I honestly like was like trying to have fun. I remember like the next week I was going out with friends and I was like, come meet us out. I was like persistent. I was like, I'm having a fun night tonight. Like, come meet us out. Mm-hmm. And he met us out. And then it turned into like kind of going out with like friends, like a party kind of like instead of like very serious dates.
Yeah.
And then my birthday was like around the corner and he like came to my birthday party with some friends and like brought me like candy and stuff.
Cute.
And then I would say like after then we kind of like went on like a few more like serious dates. And this was like still all very light. Like I never was thinking like, oh, I'm gonna date this guy or like. But I don't think I was in the mindset of like wanting to date someone when like my last relationship ended like so traumatically that I was like, very like against getting into another one, even though I really liked him. But I think he was in like a similar mindset of like not wanting something super serious in that moment, even though we like were having a ton of fun together. And then I went on another trip with Revolve to Bermuda, and my layover was in London. And he was in London. He's from London, and he was there for a bit. And I remember he was like, "Stay for a few days, like change your flight and like stay." And I did. And then it got pretty serious after that. And I feel like we were like, then we became exclusive and then started dating.
Cute. Wait, how'd you do the exclusivity, the boyfriend girlfriend conversation?
So in London, we like had not had that like conversation yet, and he was also going to be gone for like 2.5 more weeks when I like flew back. And I remember when like we were away from each other for that long, we were like, oh, like I was like, I really miss him and stuff. But then I saw he was like hanging out with like other girls there. I remember I got like absolutely like so pissed about it, and like it was like because I like saw through Instagram that there was like other girls. I remember being like really mad about it. And then he got back and we were in the Hamptons. I feel like these all sound like red flags.
No.
But we were in the Hamptons and someone came up to us and was like, "Oh, this is your new boyfriend, Ella." And I was like, no. And she was like, "What are you guys?" And I was like, "We're seeing each other." And she was like, "So you're not exclusive?" And this girl like pressured us to like kind of have the conversation.
Who was like a girl you knew?
Yeah, but not super well. But she kind of was like, "What are you guys?" And we like both were like couldn't really answer. And, like, we're like, "I don't know, we're having fun." And then like at the end of the night we like had the conversation, the two of us, and we're like,
so we have to thank that girl.
Yeah. But then I remember like I was like, I feel like nothing changes. Like I like haven't been seeing anyone else. You haven't been seeing anyone else. And then he was like, the only thing he was like, I don't want it to be boyfriend and girlfriend yet because I don't want to date someone that I don't think I'll marry. And I remember because he was like, the difference between being exclusive and boyfriend and girlfriend was like really serious to him. And he was like, the next person I date, I want to feel like I would maybe marry. And then I remember he said that. I was like, well, don't worry, it's just exclusive. We're not dating. Yeah. And then like a month and a half later, we were in LA together. He had to be there for work, and like I was there with my family. He like met me out there, and then he like we like got drinks, and he was like, "So do you want to just be boyfriend and girlfriend?"
Wait, that's like so much meaning behind that because of what he said about the marriage thing. Like I'd be like, "You're proposing to me," basically.
Yeah, but it was very like casual, like not. I feel like it was always like joking around the subject, like dancing around it because we didn't want it to be like so serious. But then I think because we were seeing each other for so long before like dating, like we didn't have that like honeymoon phase because we were almost in that like messing with each other, like, playing game stage. So then when we like started dating, it got like serious quickly. I feel like because it was like that honeymoon phase finally.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you would be ready to get married just because he's older? Yeah.
Not now.
Yeah.
No.
But he, like, have you said that to him or?
He's not ready to get married either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's only been a year. I feel like we could maybe have the conversation in a few years. But I think just because I feel like people in New York get married a lot later.
They do, for sure.
Yeah. And half of his friends, if he's like the youngest of his friends, and like some of them are like 34 or 5 and like sending it and like not serious with anyone at all. And then the other half are married with like 2 kids.
Right.
So I feel like he doesn't feel like any pressured, but he definitely like wants to get married in the future.
Yeah.
Hopefully to me. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, totally. You mentioned your past relationship was traumatic. What was traumatic about it?
So I actually met him. I was still going to Boulder, and I was visiting here with my family, and he lived here, and he actually went to Boulder, but he was older, so I like didn't know him there. But I guess we had met there, so he knew who I was. And when I was here for Thanksgiving, he messaged me and was like, "Would you want to grab a drink?" And I was like, "Yeah, like sure." And I like went on a date with him, had a lot of fun. I went back to Boulder, and then he was going home to Colorado for Christmas. And he was like, "This is so random, but would you want to come hang out in Aspen for like a few days? That's where he's from." And I like went and hung out, met his whole family, like our second time hanging out. Like,
oh my God.
So intense. But then I went back to, like, I graduated early, and then I moved to New York like a few months after that, and by then we like started dating. And after like a year and a half of dating, we moved in together, but then the pandemic happened. So then we like moved to California with my parents, and then we're in Aspen with his parents. Then we got back here. And by the time I got back here, there was like a week of like us getting into a fight, and like I just caught him and like lie after lie after lie of like different things, like one about his ex-girlfriend, one about DMs with this girl that someone had mentioned to me, and they were all deleted. And then I had found out that he had cheated on me, like in the beginning of the relationship, from someone else. And I like didn't go home that night when I found out. And I stayed at Paige Lorenz's. We had hung out one time. She was in LA, and I was like, can I please sleep at yours? Like, I need to be alone. And I went to her. I remember I bought a whole pack of cigarettes. Like, I don't even smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
And I like smoked them crying in the freezing cold, like so upset. And he was like, where are you? And I went home the next day, and I was like, do you know what this is about? And he like knew, because I think I left my iPad and my computer there, and I feel like he like was maybe reading my messages or something.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah. And then he tried to play it off like, oh, like it wasn't sex, even though like I knew it was. And I was like, doesn't matter. Like this is all came in, and he left that day. I said like, leave. I don't want to see you.
Right.
And he moved back to Colorado. And then I hadn't seen him until I ran into him on the street like 2 months ago here. And he had moved back.
What was that running like?
It was so horrible. I literally had just gotten out of Core Power Sculpt. And I was like walking to a tailor with my soggy mat and towel. And he saw me and I didn't see him. And then he was like, whoa, I thought you were going to big dog me there for a second. And I was like, no. And then it was like pretty sad. Like,
what does that even mean, big dog me?
Like act like I didn't see him.
Oh, yeah.
And like walk past him. But I just like actually didn't see him. And then I feel like it was like pretty intense, because that was the first time I'd seen him since I literally said get out. And it'd been like almost a year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah. Did he not try to like fight for you back?
After that, like, yeah, we spoke. I like packed up all of his stuff and like sent it out with his friends and stuff, and then like moved. And we had talked here and there. But I feel like it just got like really not healthy to even speak. So I remember I think I like blocked him on everything.
Yeah.
And then I would get like some emails here and there.
Oh wow.
And
when is his birthday? Just curious.
Libra.
Oh my God. I'm embarrassed for us.
Wait, I've dated 2 Libras, so my only other boyfriends were this guy and then the guy before that. They're both Libras. Now I'm like, never again.
Well, Libra Gemini, like in like if you look it up, it says it's like an amazing match. In reality, it's not at all.
No.
At all. My most toxic relationships were with Geminis too.
Okay.
And like Kim and Kanye. Like,
yeah.
It's just not good vibes, actually. It's bad. But that's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it was great. Honestly, like I was able to like walk out of that. I feel like I was obviously like really like heartbroken, but I was like so angry that I was able to just walk out of it and be like, I'm fine. Like I'm moving, I'm getting my own apartment, I'm doing this, this, and this, and like throw myself into like work, making new friendships, and like actually going out in the city, because I feel like I like didn't even do that.
Right, totally. But it's crazy that you guys live together.
Yeah.
Because you don't often hear about like relationships where you live together and you break up.
Yeah.
And like that's really hard to do. And then like that might affect you wanting to live to move in with someone else again. Have you thought about that with James, like moving in together, or?
Yeah, so we're gonna get a place in Brooklyn, I think, in the new year. His lease ended a little bit ago, and he was in Bushwick, so he's actually been living at mine for a little bit.
But you don't have like PTSD around living with a partner now?
No, I think it would have, like, if something had happened in our apartment, maybe I would have like more PTSD.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like I know that at least the one time I know of the cheating was not in our apartment.
Yeah, that
or it was like before
me.
We moved in together.
Yeah.
But no, I don't have PTSD. Also, I think it's different because like right now it's still my apartment. He's,
Of course.
But,
so he's like your bitch.
Yeah.
He's living in your apartment, basically. That's amazing. Okay, so you have siblings. You have a sister?
Yeah.
And just the two of you?
Yeah.
Okay, me too. And I wanted to talk about it because I feel like you and your sister both have like a following.
Yeah.
And I hope that doesn't fall over. It looks unsturdy.
Did I knock something?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
I think it's fine.
Okay, good. So you and your sister both have like a following on Instagram. Yeah. Who's older?
Me.
Okay.
But some people I've heard, like, literally someone was like talking about my sister, and I was like, oh, are you talking about Lucy? And they're like, oh, you're Lucy's younger sister.
Yeah.
I was like, no. She's 21.
Okay.
I'm 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it seems like you guys are different. Like you have different style. Yeah. When is her birthday?
She's February 22nd. She's
Pisces.
Okay.
Yeah. So what is that like? Just like, what is it like having a sister who you're different from, who maybe you get compared to, who also has like an Instagram?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
no, I think it's great. I feel like we help each other a lot. I think we both like kind of like got creative and started doing it while we were young and like, for fun, and then we got here and it kind of turned into more of like a job. She still goes to NYU, so she's still a student. But I think it's great that we're so different. Like, we were more similar when we were younger, but I feel like now our styles have just gone like completely opposite ways. But it's funny because like people always be like, oh, she must be like the crazy one, like she's so edgy, she has all the tattoos, like she dresses way more out there. But like she's not at all. I feel like I'm probably the crazier one, even though she's like, you dress like a grandma. Yeah
Totally.
But no, it's great. I feel like, thankfully, I feel like we don't get like compared or anything online that I see. I feel like we're different enough. We have totally different like friend groups. She has her own like influencer friend group.
Totally. But did it ever like annoy you or her that like you were doing a similar thing, you know?
I don't think so. I think the only time I remember it like being like a little bit annoying was she wanted to like start YouTube. I think I was doing Instagram and like she was still in high school and she's like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel, and she did and was like super into it, and like I had never wanted to do YouTube. And then during the pandemic I was like, oh, I'm gonna start YouTube, and she's like, that was kind of my thing. But it was like, but yeah, obviously you can start your own YouTube channel too.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's funny. So I was doing, I guess I'm trying to think about the timeline. I had already had my podcast, and then my sister was like, she was a teacher at the time, and then she was like, oh, I want to be a health like influencer, and then she just like started. And I remember at first I was annoyed because I was like, I can't just like have a thing that's like for me, you know? But then I was like, you know what, like that's so cute, like if it makes her happy. But like it's hard because your initial reaction is like, I don't want to be doing the same thing as my sister. Like,
Wait, how close in age are you guys?
2.5 years, which is like more cutthroat.
Yeah,
than,
definitely.
Like
I feel like we're almost 4. So I feel like that's like enough like, age difference. But no, we've literally like, I feel like we've always like helped each other. I mean, we get in fights when we're like taking photos. Just like you take the worst photos. Like that. But like, I think it's fun that we're able to do the same thing, because when we're like at together, like home with my dad or home with my mom or something, it's like we'll help each other do what we need to do.
Totally,
like,
which is
photos.
great. Yeah, which is so good. And I know, and I feel like because like both my sister and I know how important it is to like have comments and likes. Like she's like the first one and I'm the first one that comments, because we know like, oh, this is a partnership and blowing it up.
Exactly.
You know?
Like if she posts, I'm commenting on it no matter what.
Yeah, of course, which is so great. You seem so confident, and like I'm sure you are. Why wouldn't you be? But how did you get there? Like for people who need some tips in becoming confident and like loving themselves.
Thank you, first of all. That's hard. I mean, we're definitely all insecure, but I think I've wasted, probably still waste so much time on being insecure about things that you have no way of like controlling. It's just like not worth your time. It's not worth your mental energy. Things that have helped me definitely like gain more confidence. I feel like when I'm doing things positive for my life or things that are benefiting my life, I'm like way more confident. If I'm like working really hard, if I'm eating healthy, if I'm going to the gym, if I'm being productive in my life, if I'm sleeping 10 hours a night, if I'm doing my skincare routine, like then I'm like, I'm doing everything I can to like set myself up for success, that I'm like confident in like my routine and what I'm doing. I feel like that helps me so much, except like when I'm partying or like had a really late night, forget to wash off my makeup, then I feel like that's when my confidence goes down. Yeah,
that's totally fair. How do you maintain independence in your relationship, especially since you guys are living together at the moment? You
know? I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I'm such an independent person. I feel like this job has made me such an independent person. Like I used to have a full-time job, so I worked like at a corporate office, and I realized like when you have those I mean, I don't know if you like, you did, right?
Yeah, back in the day, for sure.
And you like have all these friends at your office, or at least people that you like touch base with like every single day. And in this job, like sure, I have like a manager, but you don't have like coworkers. And I feel like that made me realize like how like independent I am. Like sometimes I go a whole day without speaking to anyone, or it's like I said hi to my Pilates instructor. Like you like you're dead quiet sometimes, like filming content, only hearing your own voice. That I feel like that's made me like such an independent person that I'm so okay like being alone. But we do so much together. So I think it's hard because we like, I feel like when I travel like a lot of time he gets to come with me, or if like he's traveling for work, I can go with him. That I feel like we are together like so much. And I hang out with his group of friends so much, like a lot more than like he hangs out with mine, I would say.
Do you think that's because his are like older?
Yeah,
like
I do.
Yeah.
I also think that I'm like literally gone every other weekend or like gone something. So like a lot of times I'll be like, come out with us. And like one of my friends will like come out with us. And they're like excited to do that. Whereas like some of my friends here are all in like such tight knit like friend groups. So I like see them like one off kind of.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. When you're away, also you have like these trips that you go on alone. So that like makes you more independent. What is the dynamic like on these trips? I think you were just on one of these trips.
I just went to the Dominican Republic. Orium. Every trip is so different. Obviously, depending on the brands, the girls invited, how many people are invited. I think also depending on like the deliverables that like everyone has, like if you have to post while you're there, if people are getting paid to be there, if other people aren't getting paid to be there. I think that brand trips are so special because it gives you an opportunity to like actually make friendships with these girls that like you meet a lot of other influencers at events, and people are like, on their phone the whole time, like so busy jetting off to another event, like posting content that they have to post while they're there, and you never like talk to people at events. Sometimes like I struggle at events. I feel like I get really like socially awkward and be like, I don't know what to say to anyone.
I know. Yeah, me too.
I literally got my ear pierced at the last event I went to because I was like, I don't know who to talk to. Like, someone get your ear pierced, and I was like, I guess so.
That's amazing.
But the brand trips, like you actually like make friends with them, and like I'm trying to think. I was just on one with like Kate Bartlett and like Lauren Wolf, and like obviously I've hung out with them a bunch like the events here, but I've never been on a trip with them. And it's like I feel like I talked to Kate like so much, and I was like, she's so sweet and so cute and so young, and like got to know her in like such a nice way that I probably wouldn't have gotten to know her off like on the internet or like seeing her at events. And it's like you realize these people go through their own struggles, have their own same shit going on, and like struggle that like that's so special. But I think a lot of like the tough part of influencer trips is like some group of girls just like aren't gonna mesh. And like I've been on trips where like people have gotten in arguments or like and it's like so awkward.
Like about what?
I don't even know if I should say, but like
you obviously don't. You don't have to say who
but
they
no,
are.
I was on one like kind of recently, and someone was talking about like going to school again, and someone else was like, why would you go back to school? You don't need to have school like education to be an influencer. And the girl was like, oh, because I like want to go back and learn this. And she was like, well, that's like very rich girl of you, or like something like that. And I was like,
oh my god,
this is getting like and like someone got up and crying, and like then the brain is like, is everyone okay? And I was like, Jesus.
Oh my god, that's so scary.
Yeah.
When you go on these trips, like, do you have like your people who you go there friends with already, or are you kind of just like making new friends?
Every single one of them is so different. This recent one I said yes to, and it was my friend Cass's brand, so I knew Cass. And then she told me some of the people going, and I was like, oh, I know them like decently, and no one got a +1 for this, and I was like, yeah, I'm fine to go. So I knew people going. I didn't know everyone. I wasn't best friends with anyone, but I knew I'd be fine because I knew like some of them. I went to Italy, and I got to bring like, you got to bring a +1 as long as they were an influencer too, and as long as the brand like approved them first. And so I like brought a really good friend, so it was like we were rooming together the whole time, and then we got to meet like a bunch of other girls who were like already friends. So you're kind of like meshing like you and your +1 with other +1s. Kind of like dating.
That's so
and
fun.
See who it works with and who it doesn't.
I love that. Where do you get your style inspo?
That's hard. I feel like Instagram, honestly, like everyone looks at Instagram, but I feel like I've always been good. I have like my style when picking out certain pieces, which has probably changed a lot over the years, but like I feel like I'm really good at just putting things together, and that's how my style is curated, even if like it doesn't make sense to go together. I love like my favorite person ever is Elsa Hosk. I think she has the best like style of all time.
Totally.
But if I ever like can't come up with an outfit, then I feel like I usually like scroll through like my saved on Instagram, and then I'll be like, oh, okay, like I can do something like that.
Love that. What about like hate and, you know, being on TikTok, being on Instagram, like you open yourself up to people being hateful. Like, how do you actively not like read anything, or like, you know, how do you deal with negative comments and things like that?
Yeah, I think it's hard. I feel like I didn't deal with much negative stuff until this year. I mean, people have like sent me a few things that they've come across, and I feel like that is when I like first saw like, oh wow, there is like hate, so much hate out there that exists that you like don't even realize. But reading bad stuff about you online is just gonna like that will fuck with you so bad. I read a few things like probably like 6 months ago, and I was just like, this is so toxic and so horrible and so mean. Also, people have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, none.
Literally no idea. Like the facts that people dump to, I'm like, how?
Yeah, like they're just not true.
They're just not true.
What's the most common misconception that you've come across about you?
I mean, I feel like the most people comment on my TikToks like, you're just so boring. You're so bland. Like you have no personality. And I'm like, I feel like all my friends would say the opposite. Like people just they think I'm like so bland and bring nothing to the table.
Yeah. Do you think that that's because like you curate, you know?
Maybe.
And so
I
you're
think
not
I probably
always,
only show a certain part of myself online, and maybe because like I'm afraid to show like my whole self, and like maybe if I fully opened up and then that got shut down, then I would feel like my personality was attacked.
Totally.
So yeah, I guess it made me realize that too. Like maybe I don't show enough of myself to where I come off as like the super boring person.
Right. But like who cares?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like you have to protect something.
Yeah. Honestly, the hate stuff, I remember when I read it, like the ones about me, I was like, oh, that sucks. And then I would read one like about my friend or like someone I knew that was so wrong. And like that made me more angry. I was like, this is like just so wrong. Like it's so mean.
Yeah. I mean, think about like how dark of a place you have to be in to write stuff about
to
people.
be sitting there writing, like wasting your time.
Yeah.
You could be out there bettering yourself. Go
exactly.
get a juice and go
but you're
on
not.
a walk. Yeah.
Right. So that's terrifying. Okay, one more question, then we're gonna do some rapid fire. So you're tiny. Like, what are styling? So this came up a lot. What are some styling tips for like shorter girls?
Okay. I mean, I feel like I go to jeans a lot, and it's sometimes very hard to find jeans for like petite girls. I hate when stuff is like so baggy at the bottom. So I feel like that makes us look even shorter than we are, and we all want to be taller, I think.
Yeah.
As you can see, I'm wearing the most platform like gauny boots right now. I always wear like really chunky boots. Find a good pair of jeans. I'm wearing like vintage Levi's, but I feel like they usually have like quite small sizing because a lot of them are like vintage.
Yeah.
Trying to think what else I think is like really flattering for my body type. I wear a lot of midi skirts. Like those are really flattering.
Yeah.
If I have a dress, like I want that to be so mini. Like I want my butt to almost be hanging out because my legs are not long. So I'm like, I want my legs to look longer. So I usually go for like really short dresses, which I feel like Realization Par has really good short dresses. Two Bodies makes really good dresses for like short, like that are mini, that look so good on short girls. And then like for blazers, just buy like a regular blazer. It'll look oversized.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay, let's do some rapid fire poll questions. Privacy screen protector on phone. Red flag, deal breaker, or no big deal?
No big deal.
If you weren't invited to a friend's wedding, you used to be closer but drifted, should you still send a wedding gift?
No.
Is gum chewing a turn on or a turn off?
Probably a turn off.
Yeah, agreed. Should your significant other go down on you every time you have sex?
I've never had that.
What do you mean?
Every time?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I thought you meant like I've never
had
down
I've had it, but not every single. I've never had someone who does it every single
Yeah, it's
time.
a lot. It's excessive.
Yeah. No,
for
I
sure.
think that's not. I don't even think I would want that.
Yeah, probably same. If you are about to go into a restaurant with your new boyfriend and you see a situationship sitting at the bar, would you walk away and go somewhere else or walk in and say hi?
I would walk in and say hi.
Yeah. You've been getting friendly with a guy at the gym and you just found out that he has a girlfriend. Do you call him out or ignore him?
I feel like it depends on the situation. How friendly were we getting? Like,
Yeah.
I think we're going to go on a date,
Right.
then I'd probably call him out. But if it was just like us smiling and chatting a few times, then I'd probably just start not talking to him anymore.
Totally. When your significant other is meeting your family for the first time, do you tell them to bring something or do you just see if they do?
I'm laughing because James was so bad the first time.
No, why?
He didn't bring something, but my dad also like came and met us somewhere.
Yeah,
my dad
so
is also
different.
like my best friend, like very out there guy. But last Thanksgiving, well, British people don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Right. They also like don't know to bring gifts because I dated a British guy and they just like don't.
They also don't know anything at all. But he came to Thanksgiving with my dad and my sister and her boyfriend last year. And it was like an 8 p.m. reservation. We didn't get sat till 9:15, and we had been at like his Friendsgiving all day, so we were like drunk. And I was like so tired and hungry waiting for our table, and James literally fell out of his chair. He was so drunk.
No.
And my sister was like pissed. She was like, saw that, James. She would give him like the hardest time ever. And then like my dad was like, so what's everyone grateful for? And he's never done this before. And
right.
Like, love turkey. Really love turkey. And
no.
I was like, oh my God. My sister's boyfriend was like, I'm so grateful to have met Lucy this year. She's been such an inspiration in my life.
No.
I was like,
oh my God. Did he redeem?
He redeemed. My dad was definitely like, I noticed that he didn't say anything about you when he said being grateful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's never done this before.
Right. Oh. Do you still have a bedroom at your parents' house?
Yes. At my dad's house, we have one that Lucy and I like share when we go home now.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had a successful relationship after feeling the ick on a first date?
No.
Which friends do you value more? Friends who have been around forever or friends in adulthood?
I kind of think been around forever for me.
Yeah, I think I agree. Is it a turnoff if a guy has a public Instagram?
No, but like if I was dating someone right now, I would ask them to be private.
How
I'd
come?
want them to be private because I don't want people are so creepy.
Yeah, people are so fucking creepy. I can't tell you how many, when I did date someone who had Instagram, because my husband doesn't, how many friend requests he would get from like people who DM me.
No, James would get people before we were dating.
Yeah.
And like someone was like, I found him because I went through every male follower that you have. And like I noticed like all of your friends started following him too. And then like I found his LinkedIn. And I was like, oh my
Wait, that's so scary. Oh my God. Would you feel flattered or annoyed if a date says you look cuter IRL than in pictures?
Flattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also like, why don't I look good in picture? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you better than the other way
Yeah,
around.
totally. It's like a backhanded compliment though. Have you been chased by someone who was into you and then you realized you liked them and started dating?
No.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's it. Well, do you have a quote or piece of advice that you can leave our listeners with?
I wish I thought about this before. Let me think for a sec.
We can like cut out the part where you're thinking, so it looks like you're prepared.
Wait, a quote or piece of advice. Okay, this is probably because the week it is. It's Thanksgiving week, but honestly, yesterday morning I woke up and I was like, I'm so grateful, and I was like, I'm so grateful for my life. I'm so grateful for everyone in it, everything I have. And I feel like focusing on being grateful and like everything you do have makes you such a happier person.
It really does.
Like day to day,
Yeah.
if you like think of 3 things in the morning that you're grateful for, like you start off being like so happy.
Yeah.
Rather than what you don't have.
I love that. Where can everyone find you, follow you? And
on Instagram, it's at Ella Rose, ELLAA Rose, which they didn't have a single A. And then I'm on YouTube and TikTok, and those are both Ella McFadin.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks
that was
for
so fun.
on.